So easy to say, I'm going to do it tomorrow. Well, I want you to reprogram your brain and tell yourself that tomorrow is not a viable option. Tomorrow doesn't work. You do it today. You get it done today. That's what you do.
If you're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. If you're going to try, go all the way. This could mean losing girlfriends, wives, relatives, jobs, and maybe your mind. Go all the way. Despite rejection and the worst odds, and it will be better than anything else you can imagine.
It's much easier to come up with excuses why you can't do it. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. If you do what is easy, complain about your situation, your circumstances. You surrender and give up on your dreams. Become depressed and bitter and angry. Anybody can do that. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard.
I gotta commit my very being to this thing. I gotta breathe it, I gotta eat it, I gotta sleep it. And until you get there, you'll never be successful in life. But once you get there, I guarantee you, the world is yours. So work hard and you can have whatever it is you want. And when I went to college, guys were way smarter than me. 4.0s, 3.0s, they went to the Ivy League high schools, came to Oakwood from these great high schools. Most of them are not doing what I'm doing. Why? Because it's not about where you come from. It's about hearts. You come to a place where, being smart ain't enough. You gotta have hearts. Don't go to sleep until you succeed.
When are you going to realize if you're not hungry enough, then you are not going to be able to satisfy the hunger that you have within yourself? So if you're a dreamer, sooner or later you're going to have to wake up from that dream. And while you're walking down that path, concerning yourself about things that you may not be able to control at that moment, focus on what you can control within yourself. Because there will come a time when while you're applying yourself and you're going after that dream, this reality kicks in. Bam! You got to have the ability to rise up and push yourself and believe in yourself and make that dream a reality.
And I don't know who needs to hear this, but you weren't born a quitter. You were the sperm that made it to the egg, and when your mother brought you into this world, you weren't a quitter yet. Even as a child, I know you weren't a quitter then. Because as you learn to walk, you will fall on your face and you will pick yourself back up and you will continue to keep moving forward. You weren't a quitter yet. People become quitters when they stop believing in themselves. They stop believing in themselves and they start believing in what other people think of them. They stop believing in the words that they say to themselves and they start believing in the words that others say for them. So when they're faced with a situation that they can't get over and they ain't got nobody else cheering for them, they start to come back and start to quit. Each time that you quit, you betray yourself. Each time that you quit, you betray the faith that others have in you. Each time that you quit, you betray the opportunity that life has given you. And at the end, you're left with maybes, ifs, and tries. And for those who are foolishly enough to put their trust in you, you betray that as well. And when faced with that very existence, like faced with that possibility that I could be the one that could let somebody down, like I could be the one who has to put the load on somebody else's back because I am too weak to be able to carry it, I grab the rope and I continue to climb despite how bad my hands hurt. I continue to climb despite how my forearms locked up. I continue to climb despite how many times I wanted to walk away from the situation. I just knew that there was a possibility that if I quit right now, I'm gonna quit when someone needs me the most.
So whatever the volcano is, you have the capacity to take that volcano on, the capacity to jump in it and find your true identity. Here's another thing to keep a lot of people from taking on the volcanoes and jumping into the challenges that they're confronted with. The fear of making mistakes or not feeling good enough. Guess what? You're going to make some mistakes. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. God said this and it's true. He said the person who's never made a mistake hasn't done anything.
If you just understood the principle of success, you could be successful. It don't matter what. Anybody can be successful. You just gotta adhere to a few things. And what you got to adhere to is not hard. The hard part is believing that it's applicable to you. But everybody is designed to be successful. You just got to get out your way sometime.
Nobody in life is flawless. Nobody is perfect. It's impossible. You can try to be as perfect as you want, but ultimately you're going to come across mistakes. You're going to come across flaws. And I think the real perfection is in perfecting your imperfection.
I'm willing for people to laugh at me. I'm willing to gut this out. I'm willing to make this happen. It's my time. It's possible. It's necessary. It's hard. It's worth it.
Every single dude that I knew that was about it in business, they were disciplined. Right? Discipline. Now this one right here is spooky because I met a lot of men who were very successful financially, and they thought because they had money they didn't have to be disciplined, and they ended up losing everything. They ended up losing everything. They weren't disciplined. Right? They became alcoholics, right? Sex addicts, right? Didn't move with integrity. That's the one thing, man, I love about, man, y'all, man, for real. I'm telling y'all gotta get with the right crew. When y'all hear Maul talk about getting up and working out, they don't got nothing, man, I promise y'all. They don't have nothing to do with like, I ain't following no man because he got muscles. I'm following Maul because he got muscles that come from discipline. Like I promise you, you call Maul, like, yo, Maul, the podcast, you heard the podcast. Yo, Maul, we want you to go see this. They trying to, you know what I'm saying, get Maul to see his billboard that's out there. Trying to trick Maul. Maul like, I can't do it. They like, we need you to come right now. He like, this is my workout time. Whatever you trying to show me, work out. I got to work out. I'm trying to get on this scale and be the same weight I was when I was coming out of college. That's discipline.
But if you are going to rest, that is one thing that you should procrastinate on. That's the one thing I want you to put off until tomorrow. Now, these could be signals that you need some time off. And those signals might be right. They could be correct. But don't take today off. Don't give in to the immediate gratification that is whispering in your ear. Shut that down. Do not listen to that little voice. Instead, go through the motions. Lift the weights, sprint the hill, work on the project, get out of bed.
2014, I was executing a training exercise with my team. A simple exercise that we had all done. And a part of that exercise is the completion of an obstacle course. Now, like I said, we had all done this before. So as we traversed through the obstacle course and got to the very end, there was only one thing that we needed to do. And that was just climb a rope. Now, just like what I said, we had all done this before, so a simple task as climbing a rope would be nothing for us. I approached the rope and began to climb like I don't know what happened. I don't know if the ropes were new, I don't know if I was just fatigued, but for some reason as I got halfway up there, I came back down. Thinking nothing of it, I shook my arms out and began to climb again. And just like last time, I got halfway up there and for some reason I came back down again. Now at this point, now I'm starting to think like, what's going on with this situation? Is my pack too heavy? Is my boots too tight? Am I just too fatigued? So I grabbed the rope and I climbed halfway up there again. And next thing you know, I come crashing down. As I continue to keep climbing this rope and as I continue to keep crashing back down, the rest of my team has already finished. And now everybody is staring at me. Stuck with a simple situation. Do I continue to keep climbing or do I walk away from this situation? So I climb again. And each time that I climb, my hands, they get tight. Each time that I climb, my hands, they get blistered. Each time that I climb, I come crashing back down. At this moment right now, I realize that life is about to teach me a big lesson. That if I quit right now, I will betray the faith that my team has in me. That if I quit right now, I will burden the next man with my troubles, with my failure, with my struggle. At this moment right now, if I decide to quit, I would unknowingly adopt the mindset of a quitter. What people don't realize is that each time that you quit, you invite the idea of quitting to the table. That every time that something gets hard, that spark, that itch, that urge of quitting comes out. And every action that you take on that idea, every time that you decide to quit, that urge, it becomes easier to scratch. But each time that you face some type of obstacle in your path, that urge, that itch, that gnawing feeling of quitting, it comes out. It becomes easier to use.
Success and failure are generally slow processes. Either slowly building things up or gradually tearing them down. And that's why I say you've got to pay attention. You have to watch. You have to watch every single second. Because those seconds, they turn into minutes. And minutes turn into hours, and hours turn into days, and days turn into years. You've made no progress. None. You never moved. You might even be further from your goal than you were. Why? Why did you let that happen? You think to yourself, maybe I can't do it. And so you give up. You let it fade. And you settle. You settle for mediocrity. You settle for average. You settle for, oh well. But no. Don't do that.
If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, if you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are done, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 40 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it.
Sometimes you can be so prepared and still fail. And with every time you fail, it's painful, causes sadness. So no matter how great the setback, how severe the failure, you never give up. You never give up. You pick yourself up, you brush yourself off, you push forward, you move on, you adapt, you overcome. That is what I believe. Everybody here, everybody watching, I won't be stopped.
And so what I'm trying to tell you is, I didn't get the degree to get the degree. I got the degree because I called my grandma. I'm trying to tell you the reason why you're not doing it is not because you don't have what it takes to do it, not because you don't have the ability to do it, but whatever it is you say you're going to do, the meaning is not strong enough. Somehow the meaning is not strong enough. You've not put enough value in it. You don't have enough skin in it. You played around with it so much that you don't have nothing to lose if you don't do it. What I'm telling you is you got to create the type of scenarios, not the goal, the type of scenarios that if it doesn't work, you lose everything. And because you cannot lose everything, you got to make it happen. Glenn came all the way from Australia. You can't plan your graduation in 2 weeks. You can't buy a ticket from Australia and then call somebody and say, Glenn's not going to happen now. Was that a refundable? Did you get a refundable ticket?
So I need you to put some value, because if you put 120% value in it, 120% meaning in it, and you get 120% accountability on it, every single goal you write down is going to happen.
Oh, I know you're looking at your life and saying, oh, this is not much. And I know you're looking at everything and you're waiting for something to happen. But I promise right now you have enough wisdom to build legacy. Right now you have enough gifting to build legacy. Right now you have enough relationships to build legacy. Right now you have enough energy to build legacy. Right now you have enough money to build legacy. And you can't wait around and hope and wait for the day everything comes together. You have to start building legacy right now.
Have a vision of the person you could become, and to reach the pearly gates, as it were, see who you could have been, contrast it with who you actually are, and be disappointed by the gap between them. And I love chasing that. I think it's a beautiful chase. But what I hope you guys will do, if you ever find yourself at the pearly gates disappointed in how much farther you could have gone, to simply ask one question of yourself every day. Did I give it my all today?
The reason why you have not become successful, the reason why you are not like a locomotive, the reason why you're not having success in your life is because every single day you got an excuse. And I need you to do me a favor. I made my last excuse yesterday. My last reason. I came up with my last reason yesterday of why I can't do what I'm supposed to do. And so I need you to do me a huge favor. All your excuses, all your good reasons, everything that's keeping you from doing what you're supposed to do, I need you to put it behind you and say, yesterday was the last day for that foolishness. Yesterday was the last day to say, I don't have enough money to do this. I don't have enough money to go to school. I don't have enough money to get a computer. I don't have what it takes. I'm not smart enough, right? I don't write well enough. I don't sing well enough. That's why I didn't do my CD. I didn't write my book because I'm not on that level. Listen to me. You better hear what I'm saying. Yesterday was the last day that I want to hear an excuse. It's over with. I was embarrassed. I said, listen to me, no more defeats. No more defeats, man. No more. I was tired of feeling defeated. I was tired of talking about I was going to do it and didn't do it. And I hated the feeling of when somebody asked me, yo, E, where the book? I ain't got it. I was tired of getting beat. I was tired of defeat. I said, I'm going to get it done. Every time you set this big goal, you never get it accomplished because you never break it up in manageable pieces. This is it. I'm talking about procrastinating. You still have time. Don't quit. Don't give up. You still have time. You can do it. You can make it happen, but you can't do it procrastinating. You can't do it talking about it, all right? So I just want to go back and recap because I want to make sure you hear what I'm saying. But I dare you, I double dare you to do exactly what you said you were going to do when the year started because it's not too late.
Always go to something bigger than yourself. My problem is so many times you've thrown big ideas at small people.
It's all on you. Do something about it every day, do something that moves you toward that goal, that keeps the goal alive and in sight and in focus. However small or insignificant that step might seem, take it, do that little piece, make it happen. Because that goal isn't going to achieve itself.
The world's tough. We are training kids and people to be soft in a world that continuously gets harder. You have to build a person that can withstand the pressures of whatever they're going to be dealing with in life. And we don't do that.
We're getting out of college and we haven't the faintest idea what we want to do. So I always ask the question, what would you like to do if money were no object? How would you really enjoy spending your life? Well, it's so amazing. As a result of our kind of educational system, crowds of students say, well, we'd like to be painters, we'd like to be poets, we'd like to be writers, but as everybody knows, you can't earn any money that way. Or another person says, well, I'd like to live an out-of-doors life and ride horses. I say, do you want to teach in a riding school? Let's go through with it. What do you want to do? When we finally got down to something which the individual says he really wants to do, I will say to him, you do that. And forget the money. Because if you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. You'll be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living, that is, to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid. Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way.
What's your why? If I don't give y'all nothing else, you better start that. What's your why? You know why I do what I do and I do it so passionately? Because my grandfather was a high school dropout. My father was a high school dropout. I was a high school dropout, and we about to break the cycle. I do what I do so my son won't have to go through what I went through. When I was at the football game, my old dude wasn't with me. I saw other kids with their father. I said, that'll never happen to me. I do what I do because my daughter says she's going to Harvard. It ain't even about y'all. I'm about to come in here and blaze y'all. Why? Because I'm trying to get you all the NFL. I ain't about to miss this opportunity. This is the first NFL team I've ever done in my life, and I'm about to lick it.
You got to recognize what it means to sacrifice, what it means to be powerful, what it means to be strong. When the weakness starts to talk to you and whisper sweet nothings in your ear, you got to recognize that there's work that must be done.
I don't care what you're going to do, but go out there, make something of yourself for God's sake. Be an honest person and work and get to the top of whatever it is that you want to get to the top of. Stand up for yourself like a respectable human being and be a bit of a light on the world instead of a blight.
You have to find a dream that's so big that it overwhelms all of your fears and causes you to never give up. Everybody on the way to where you're trying to get to, you have a decision that one day you can go forward or you turn back. The problem is the average person turns back from their dream.
The knowledge that you have emerged wiser and stronger from setbacks means that you are, ever after, secure in your ability to survive. You will never truly know yourself or the strength of your relationships until both have been tested by adversity. Such knowledge is a true gift for all that it is painfully won, and it has been worth more than any qualification I ever earned.
I wish I could tell you tired, go take a break. I wish I could tell you tired, rest for a year. I wish I could tell you that it's going to get easier. I wish I could tell you it's going to get easier. I wish I could tell you that if you just keep going, it's going to get lighter. I don't believe in the word procrastination. Like, I don't really believe in that word. I told a young lady in Australia who told me she was a procrastinator. I said, look, if I told you to meet me here tomorrow at 5 a.m., I'm going to give you $3 million. Where would you be? She said, I'm going to be right there at 4:59, ready to get that $3 million. I said, so then there's no such thing as procrastination. What it is it's not important to you. Right? It's not meaningful to you. It's not something that's urgent to you. And when something is not urgent, you put it off. So yep, you're in school, yes. You probably are getting grades, etc. But if it's not meaningful to you, if it's not important to you, then you're not gonna make it a priority. So what you have to do is find out, how can you make it meaningful? How can you make it purposeful? How can you make it stick? And when you can find that out, I promise you'll get up early, you'll get there first, and you'll do whatever it takes to make that goal or reality. So for me, no such thing as procrastination. It's a such thing as it's not a priority to you.
There are things that you have been called to do that you have never done. And there are things that you have been called to do that no one on earth has ever done.
You can also find every excuse as to why you won't make it. You can find every reason, if you look for it, as to why you won't make it. But at the end of the day, there's going to be two groups of people. And one group is going to be a lot bigger than the other group. The one group is going to get told that they can't do it. And instead of fighting, and instead of working, and instead of, saying, well, Dad, I'm not willing to accept that, those people are going to just take it. And that's what society's counting on. Society is counting on you giving up. Then there's going to be a smaller group. And the smaller group is going to be the group that says, hey, you know what? I hear what you're saying, but I'm not willing to accept that. I'm not willing to just roll over and take what I'm giving. I'm not willing to stop trying because you say that I can't fucking do it. That's what you say. That doesn't mean it's the truth.
We're all looking for this golden purpose. Is it this? Is it that? Is it making money? So the purpose is you. Every fucking day I wake up and I don't want to do some fucking shit. You want to walk around all day knowing that you could, but you didn't?
I think that the number one thing is you have to have a very clear vision, a very clear goal of where you want to go. Because only then you will get there. You can have the best airplane or the best ship in the world, but if the captain doesn't know where to go, he will just drift around. If the pilot does not know where to go, he will just drift around with his plane. So I think the key thing is that we know where we're going. Don't listen to the naysayers, because there's always people out there that will tell you that you will not be able to do that, forget it, it's a stupid dream that you have, or a crazy vision, and those. Don't listen to the naysayers.
Pain always leaves a gift. Always. It's not going to change for you.
I said, ma'am, I told my grandma that I was graduating, and my grandma already called her hairstylist and told her how she wanted her hair to look. Grandma went out and bought a dress. My grandma bought a dress for the graduation. And you got to hear what I'm saying, because you're listening to me, but you're not listening to me. Listen to what I'm trying to tell y'all. I'm being real with y'all. My biological father wasn't in my life. Hear what I'm saying? My mother hid from me who my biological father was, yet my grandmother's always been in my life. That don't go together. My grandmother said to my mother, if you want to hide the identity of his father, that's cool, but you can't take my grandson from me. And so ever since I've been a kid, my grandma been to everything. She's never missed anything. And when my grandma called, she said, you better make sure you graduate, baby, because I'm coming.
People are always wondering what the next step in life is. And I say, life's a little bit like a maze, Until you walk down one hallway and try to open the door, you don't know if it's a dead end or not. And people are trying to sit back, and that's where the procrastination comes in, and look real far down the hallway. I'm like, just walk.
That conversation that you're having with weakness is not gonna build you. It's not gonna push you. It's not gonna lift you. You got to be responsible. You got to be capable. You got to be willing to work for what you want.
I know from living that if you quit whatever you're trying to accomplish, if you quit, whatever you were trying to accomplish can never happen. There's not even a remote possibility. If you quit, there is no chance of it popping back up again, coming back later. Quitting is guaranteed failure. Keep going. I mean, why would you stop there? I was in hell, so why stop now? If you're going through hell, you should keep going. The way you get to the next level of your life is keep going. Keep going, keep running. Even when you don't even know, when you get turned into chaos, you cannot be great if you cannot operate in chaos.
You already know who you are. And that peace that we're after lies somewhere beyond personality. So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it. Don't let anything stand in the way of the light that shines through this form. Risk being seen in all of your glory.
I say chase your dreams, man. Do that thing, man, that keeps you up at night. Makes you trip. You can't quit thinking about it. You wake up in the middle of the night, you got a new idea. That's what you got to chase. Because anything else, it's going to disappoint you. You're going to forever be sad, man. If you don't chase that dream, you're going to forever be miserable, man.
You will not respect yourself until you follow through, until something is done. Tears and struggles and pain, and you go through it anyway, and you show up and you continue to fight on no matter the circumstances. After a while, something begins to wither inside of you. It's an urge. Every president has felt it. Every king has felt it. Every lion has felt it. Every winner has felt it. Every soldier has felt it. Every victorious person has felt it. The urge to quit. Don't you give up on your dream.
So all pain, no matter what it is temporary. And if you can survive it, on the other side of it, you will meet personality traits, emotions, thoughts, people, circumstances, versions of you that you didn't know existed before.
You already have something special. What you're afraid of doing is working hard at it. You're afraid. And once you step up and you stare at yourself in the mirror and know who the hell you are, and you fail, but you fail forward, and you learn, you put yourself in a better position to succeed. And then once you get one level, then you go to the next one. See, a lot of people, they stay at that one level because it's comfortable.
I want to make sure y'all catch that. If you're running a business and it's 365, then 365. You got to wake up every day and you got to go get it. Why? Because if you don't hunt, you don't eat. So here's the deal. If you hunted in January and you got enough food for January, you don't get to chill February. You got to get up in February and go get enough food. And so what a lot of us do, we aren't disciplined. Like, we're not self-motivated. We're not self-regulated. We need outside people to push us. And that's not how the Creator made us. He didn't make us for all other people to be over us. So here's what I told my wife. Sweetheart, if another human can tell you to get up and go to work and do what you're supposed to do, why can't you pretend like if you need another human, be the human. You be that human. If you need somebody to tell you need to lose 100 pounds, be your own voice to tell yourself you need to. Don't go pay nobody $50,000 to lose weight when you can do it yourself. And I'm not saying don't get a person, but at some point you got to cut that person off. Why? Because if you don't have personal discipline, you'll never get to the next level. The next level is not something that's far away. Like Maul said, the next level is execution is not something that, we do. It's something that we are. And most of us aren't disciplined.
Wake up from your dream and make your dream a reality. Wake up. Wake up and understand the significance of the purpose that you have within yourself. Understand that if it's something that you are truly ultimately seeking in your life, then you got to go after it. There are a lot of people that are sitting around waiting for something to happen. Now, what you gonna do about it? How are you gonna go about doing the things that are necessary to get you where you need to be in your life? Everybody has a dream, but how much are you applying to that dream? How far are you pushing that dream? When are you gonna realize that the dream is not gonna work by itself?
You're gonna have days where you suck, but those days are so motivational. I mean, that's the bright side of tragedy. So when you come through it, you really will have an appreciation for the moments without tragedy. You don't really feel it unless unless life burns you. You don't really feel it.
Decide to live your fantasy. See, in life, you can go through life, you can come up with reasons or you can come up with results. You can come up with excuses or you can come up with achievements. You can go through life blaming or you can come up with solutions. The choice is in your hands, satisfaction or despair. We can choose that.
The nightmare is to reach our 60s, our 70s, our 80s, or even our deathbed, and to talk about everything we should have done. I should have done that. I should have invested in this. I should have made the relationship work. I shouldn't have got a divorce. We sit around and talk about all of our shoulds. We talk about all the things we wanted to do, but never got it done. That's the nightmare. That's the nightmare that we all must avoid.
You got to go through it to get to it. You got to understand that there are going to be many circumstances that will require your full, undivided attention. You got to go through it to get to it. You have to understand it has to be a unique mindset. Setting a goal and then going beyond it. Realizing that there's work to be done. Making sure that all of the strings are attached. And make no mistake along the way. Now, it's true that we all make mistakes, and we will have many setbacks, but there's always room for a comeback. To understand this, you must realize that you must humble yourself, but yet be hungry enough to go after it with everything inside of you. Everything that is required depends on you. Having the mindset that regardless of anything that is around you, that is surrounding you, that is trying to drag you down, you must have the mindset. You must be strong. You must be resilient. You must be driven. And you must be able to take whatever's coming at you. If you stumble, if you fall, have the ability to get up. But you can't depend on just your body to do the work. You must understand that it's the mental fortitude that will get you through it all. So many people don't have this fortitude. They don't have this attitude. They have no faith in themselves. If you as the individual can take the first step, then perhaps many more will follow.
Stop saying you don't have time. Just stop saying it, because when you say, I don't have time, you're making yourself feel behind. You're making yourself feel like you can't get it done. You're making yourself feel stressed out. Instead, this is what I want you to say. This is not a priority right now. Because when you say this is not a priority right now, you remind yourself that you're in control of what you focus on. You are putting your attention on what's important to you. And you are taking control of what you spend your time on. And suddenly, you feel like you have more time.
E.T., keep going. Listen to me very closely. The reason why you stop and start, and you stop and you start, and you stop and you start, is because the goal is not meaningful enough. There's something about the goal that if you quit, it's not going to hurt nobody. If you quit, it's not going to change nothing. If you quit, it's not that deep. Look, this is what I need you to do. So immediately when I left that house and I made up in my mind that I was going to get the PhD, I remember immediately doing a TGIM saying, all right, it's over. It's over. A year from now, I will be Dr. Thomas. And I just didn't speak it into the atmosphere. I spoke it to people who will hold me accountable. Write it down. Write it down. Who's going to hold you accountable? Who's going to hold you accountable? Who's that person? Who's that person? And some of you have been a part of the real estate program. Some of you just come to hear me. When you leave, I need you to call that person, that guy, that young lady, that mother or that father. Like, I need you to call that person and say, yo, I got to do these 3 things before this month and before, and this is who I'm doing it for, and this is why
So just somebody real quick over here, because we gotta make this real. Somebody over here real quick, we gotta make this real. Somebody tell me, who's that person you calling over here? Who's that person you calling? Who's that person that on this side, that person who's gonna hold you accountable? Who's that person? You've identified that person, as you raise your hand for me, tell me who that person is. Yes, sir, who's that person? Good. Look, I need you to hear me. Here's the last step, and we're moving forward. The last step is I need you to identify that person. And I identified that person. After I went on YouTube and said, hey, guys, I'm marching. Matter of fact, I turned it into an event. Listen to me very closely. I rented out a space. I put the deposit down. I tasted the food, like we did a tasting. I decided what food we were going to eat. The linen, we had to decide what linen. This is 8 months before I even graduated. Never forget, one of the professors came to me and said, E.T., there's a lot of paperwork to fill out. We got about 2 or 3 months left, but I'm just going to be honest with you. You waited on some things because you weren't in school, and now you're back, but I just don't think you're going to be able to make it happen. And I laughed. I chuckled. She said, no, I'm serious. There's a format and there's a way and there's some, and you didn't, and it takes this month for this long, 30 days for this, 6 weeks for that, and you just didn't put your paperwork in time. And I said, ma'am, I'm sorry, but you don't get it. I called my grandma and told my grandma I was graduating. Like, no, I'm being serious. Like, I called my grandma, and my grandma said, baby, you know I'm on a fixed income. So if I buy this ticket, grandma can't get her money back.
There's more in you right now than's represented in your bank account. There's more in you right now that's being reflected by your life right now. Your life is not a true reflection of your potential. You have greatness within you. You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine.
If you find your passion, you're going to have this tremendous energy. It's sustainable energy. But momentum requires you always do the next thing to keep the momentum going. And the reason you get yourself in a passionate place is so that you change your life, and the only thing that changes your life is making a decision. So while you're in this passionate state, that's where you make decisions. A decision is the first step.
How many times in your life have you gone through something you thought you wasn't going to make it? What you have to do is to be steady in the storm. If you're steady, you are outlasted. If you're steady, you are outlived. If you're not steady, it's only because you don't have the faith to believe that there's something on the other side of it.
When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. You have to give it everything you got. No more TV, no more parties, no more playing. If you don't have a 4.0, what you need to be doing is studying. Get off the phone. Sorry, I'm not available until the end of this year. No, I'm for real. You reached the right number, but you called me at the wrong time. Call me back January 1st. I'm about to get busy now. Stop being this high school dropout. Stop giving up. Stop sleeping on the street. Stop walking up and down Finkel Avenue like you ain't got nothing, and get your GED. Stop being afraid to take a test.
Don't really want to get up and get out of bed. Yeah, I get up and get out of bed. I don't really want to work out. I work out. I really don't want to hammer on a project. I hammer on the project. Now, as an overall rule, I do not like procrastination. You need to get things done.
I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna hurt somebody. I'm gonna hurt somebody. I don't believe in the word procrastination. Like, I don't really believe in that word.
Don't live in the mundane. Don't stay in the messy. Don't stay in the madness. But make room for the miracles. We get so caught up in the mundane that, man, where's the magical? When we were kids, it was like, can we play? No, but you got to clean your room. But then, can I play? Remember, we were always looking for magic. When I went to Disneyland as a 7-year-old, and I saw Tomorrowland, Frontierland, and I saw all these different lands, and I saw Mickey Mouse up close, Donald Duck up close, the fireworks show at 9:30 at night. My life changed. It was all about a different perspective. From Compton, California, and the things I saw there, going to Disneyland, it was literally only like 40 miles away. 40 miles away, I was about to have a life change. It's another vantage point. And we've heard it before. Mindset is mind to set. Your mindset is mind to set. You begin to see those things that have not yet happened as though they're possible. Because then you get the miracle mentality. All of a sudden you're thinking uncommon, not normal, not regular. Before I became great friends with Oprah, I saw myself being great friends with Oprah. So when we started talking a lot, it didn't throw me off. I've envisioned these conversations. I saw it before it even happened. It's a destiny, it's a faith, and it's the power of the imagination. When Robert Downey was working on some of his projects, he did not see Iron Man coming. You never know when you will become a superhero. And that's the beauty of life. You can go from being challenged, having difficulties in your life, wondering if you're going to be stuck in that same place, to the next thing you know, you are soaring in places that you can only have imagined. I simply align myself and then I cooperate with what life is asking me to do. So the book, The Miracle Mentality, teaches you how to get through the mundane, the messy, the madness in all areas of your life and embrace this miraculous life that you've been called to live.
This is important. Seasons are always temporary. Everything has a season. Crisis is not a permanent condition. And crisis is a human description. It's just a season. And the key to life is outlasting the season. The key to life is outlasting the season. If you can stay warm long enough, summer will come. In other words, the season for you to leave the job you are on has come. Why? There's a better one up ahead. He got to prepare you for that. So he got to close out one chapter to open a bigger chapter. Get ready for something big, bigger than what you had.
You cannot ignore the small successes and the small wins because you just have your mind on, I gotta win now. You might have to scratch your calendar. That's right. I know you said I gotta have this much money by the time I'm 23, and I gotta be at this place in my life by the time I'm 34, and I gotta be at this place in my life by the time I'm 40. And guess what? Sometimes your timeline isn't accurate. Sometimes your timeline is off. Sometimes your timeline has to be readjusted to reality. And the reality of the situation is that true success, true greatness takes time.
Most people play life safe. It's easy to grab the video game and put it on knowledge. It allows you to get to the end. But when you play it on knowledge, you don't improve. You never find out what you can be because you've never been tested. It's the same way with life. As long as you play it safe, you will always be an underachiever. When you don't know what's possible because you never tried, nothing but guilt, frustration, and resentment get set up inside of your heart for the rest of your life.
This is some life and death stuff, E. Like, this is some change the trajectory of my life stuff, E. This is like, it's gonna put me in a place like where I'm just gonna be able to get to that place that I've been trying to get to. I want you to write that down. And it was, look guys, I'm being honest, it was like random. It was like just totally random. It was out of nowhere. It was the Christmas holiday, and Carl, our videographer, had his family over, and we live around, at that time we lived around the corner from each other. Now we live on the same block. Random, right? Christmas was over. We just going to the house, just eating dinner. It just was a random night.
And somehow we got to talking, and Carl's wife is from Barbados, and she didn't have citizenship. So unfortunately, she was in the States without citizenship, and so she had to stay in school in order to eventually get her citizenship. So she did her master's degree, you know, and she was in her PhD, and it was weird. It was just like, yo, E.T., I don't know how it happened, but it was like, yo, E.T., my wife is going to get her degree before you get yours. Right? I'm an American citizen. Like, I'd already been in the program for a few years, and you know, and it was, I don't know, but have you ever heard, like, you know when it's your time, like, you know it's that moment, it's like, enough is enough. I can't tell you. People have asked me before, Eric, when you get your PhD? I'm like, I'll get it done. E.T., how far are you in the process? Finish all my coursework. I just got to write the dissertation. But it was something about that night that was different. It was almost the end of the year. And I remember Carl, listen to me very closely, guys. I'm being real with you. I didn't even have a conversation with Carl. Like, we never even talked about it afterwards. I never said anything to him about it, but I felt this guilt. I felt like this embarrassment. Like, and for real, he wasn't like speaking directly to me. He was just saying, you know, hey, E, I think my wife's probably gonna finish her degree before you finish yours. And I'm talking about like it pierced. And I just remember like we were talking afterwards and I didn't hear anything. Like, have you ever been in a conversation and it just shifts and somebody's talking to you and like you can't hear the words that are coming out of their mouth? I didn't hear anything he said. I just kept it like, E, when are you gonna get this done, E? Like, yo, E, are you ever going to finish this? And it's not about a degree, but are you ever going to finish this? Like, are you going to get it done? And I remember excusing myself, like, all right, Carl, hey, great time. Love you guys. Gotta go. Gotta get up in the morning. And I'm telling you guys, it's not even a 5-minute walk, and it felt like an hour. All I could think about when I was going home was like, enough is enough. Like, I'm through. I'm gonna get this done. Okay, just help me out. You're in the room. You ever had that enough is enough moment? Raise your hand for me. You had that enough is enough moment, right? So I need you to be there. Like the next 30, 40 minutes, I need you in that space. That enough is enough. I'm not dumb, like I can get a PhD, has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the fact that I just didn't say, all right, this is the year, right? And so that thing you wrote down, I need you to do me a huge favor. I don't know if you have a pen or a piece of paper. I don't even know if you can do this on your phone, but I want you to kind of put a year next to that for me. Put a year. I want you to just put a year on that for me. Like, don't make up, like, don't do it for me. Just a real number. Just give me like a real solid number, right? And I remember saying to myself, like, yo, if we come back next year for Christmas and your family's here, I remember saying to myself, we come back this time next year, I'm gonna be Dr. Thomas. We come back to your house next year. As a matter of fact, I will pay for your parents to come. Like, I want to reinvent this whole like scenario again next year. Like, I want everybody here. Let's do the same meal. Let's sing the same songs. Let's Twilight Zone this thing out. I want it to be exactly like it was, except for this time, I want you to say Dr. Thomas. Like, this is going on in my mind. I'm not having a conversation with anybody. And I'm saying, like, this is it, guys. This is it. So I put a date on it. I put a date. I said 2015. 2015, we're not going to have this conversation. 2015, this time next year, I'm finished. It's done, right? Good. So now I need you to do me a favor. I need you to put a month next to it. Yeah, I need you to put a month next to it now. You got January all the way to December. I need you to put a month on it for me. Give me a month. Yeah, I need you to put a month on it for me, right? Right now, as you're writing the month down, what I want you to think about is, okay, so write this down too. I'm sorry. I know you came to listen, not do a lot of writing. I apologize, but I really need this. I really need this. I really need this. I really need this. I need you to write down 3 people you love next to those goals. 3 people you love. Just 3 people. Right? Give me the name. Write the names down. I don't put son, mom, or give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, right? Write their names down. Now, this is what I need you to think about. What I need you to think about is how this goal or these goals will revolutionize their lives.
Like, I really want you to think about, okay, you can do this later. When you get home, you can do this later, but I want you to write down for each one of them, give me 3 ways. Please do this when you get home. If you really love them, like you say you love them, when you get home, I need you to write their names down, and I need you to write down when you get to this place, when you finally make this thing happen, how is it going to empower them? How is it going to change their life? And all I can think about is, wow, if I get this PhD, like I can just like change the zeros. Like, I just remember thinking, like, there were doors that were closed to me in the United States of America, right? Because of the nationality that I come from or the part of town that I come from. And I specifically remember people picking other people over me for speaking engagements that weren't as good as I was. I remember people using the excuse of you're not qualified enough. And I remember the PhD, we're gonna solve all of that. Like, no more ET ain't qualified, no more like we're gonna pick this person over this person. Like, no, this PhD is going to open doors for me that were once closed, which means it's gonna open doors for my daughter, which means it's gonna open doors for my wife, which means it's gonna open doors for my mother, which means it's gonna open doors for CJ, which means it's gonna open doors for Carl.
What I do tell people is to get after it. I tell people to do the things that they know they're supposed to do. There's things that you know you're supposed to do as a human being. Things that you know are going to improve your life. Do those things. There's things that you know are going to make you a worse person and make your life worse. Don't do those things.
Your mind is thinking about it. All these dungeons that we've created, all these trap doors, most of the time we quit is because we don't have any mental tools to get us through the other side. So my whole thing for people is you have to examine, why are you doing it in the first place?
Some stuff takes time. Greatness takes time. It takes time. It takes time to build your brand. It takes time to build your life. It takes time to build your career. You got to be prepared to get 1,000 no's to get 1 yes.
Better have a part about you that's tough, a part about you that can break down situations and get better. The devastation, the trauma is going to come, and you can't allow that to become a Jersey barrier. It can't be a Jersey barrier. It has to be something that you can maneuver through very quickly and move forward. That takes a lot of toughness. You gotta shut off technology. Go to that dark place. I call it the dark room, where you're alone. No cell phones, no music, no TVs, no computers. You by yourself. Very few people want to be alone anymore. They want to be around noise and people, and you can't think. Shut life off for a little bit. Go to a dark place in your mind and figure out what the f you want to be. You don't know what you want to be because you haven't spent real time with yourself. Spend time with yourself. And once you find that passion, that purpose, your goals, your purpose, everything will just start lining up.
Small and steady wins the race. The little win with your family when you feel like watching TV sets you up for another win the next day. A little win of getting up at 5 o'clock and running your morning routine sets you up for a habit of a 5 a.m. club morning routine. Small daily improvements over time will lead you to stunning results.
This is the time to establish your dream. All of the pain, all of the trauma, everything you have experienced, the turbulence, you have to garner up all of that hunger. I'm talking about, you got to think of everything you've ever wanted in your life, and you got to put it toward that goal. And there are things that you have been called to do that no one on earth has ever done.
There's always going to be ups and downs in life, man. There's always going to be bumps in the road, things that ain't going to go as planned. Unexpected stuff's going to happen. You're going to face some pain. You're going to face some tough times. And if you ain't trained your mind to be prepared for it and how to handle it, it's going to break you. The secret is to work on your mindset daily. Work on the way that you see the world. Otherwise, you'll live your whole life seeing the world through someone else's eyes. You'll be a creature of circumstance. You'll be a victim of your life and not the master of it. Read books, listen to audios like this one. Start learning about why you do the things that you shouldn't do and why you don't do the things that you should. It's all because of the way that thing between your ears is wired. But know this, you're in control of rewiring it whenever you make the decision to do so. At any moment, you can take control back of your life and start creating a life that you deserve, not a life that someone else has paved out for you. And when all of the struggle comes, all of the bad times, all of the dark times come around, which they inevitably will, you'll be strong enough to take it head on, and it will make you rather than break you. You have greatness inside you, let me tell you. Unlimited potential. But you have to train your mind. Every single day, things are going to happen outside of your control. The weather, terrorism, coronavirus. But you can't control any of that shit. All you can control is how you choose to look at situations. You can control the information you're letting it hear. Never forget that you can have anything in this life that you want if you're willing to go and get it. You've got to have belief. You've got to have belief, and that belief comes from working on your mindset every single day.